Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Dana and today I made a cake that looks like a stump tree, and it's gonna look amazing on your table these holidays. I want to show you step by step how I made it so you can make one for you as well. I'm gonna start with a sponge cake, for which I'm gonna need eggs, 5 eggs, 350 grams of flour, 200 grams of sugar, 125 milliliters of sunflower oil, 125 milliliters of hot water, 10 grams of baking powder, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, and 20 grams of cocoa powder. I'm gonna start by mixing flour and baking powder. This way we make sure that the cake will bake evenly. And I'm gonna let this aside. Next, I'm gonna separate eggs. I will have egg whites in the mixing bowl and the yolks in a bowl. Mix egg yolks with oil until everything will look emulsified like a mayo. Start mixing the whites with a mixer. I'm using this stand mixer, but also you can use a hand one. When the whites are starting to get white and have some volume, start adding sugar gradually. You can add vanilla extract, of course, and hot water. Incorporate the yolks that we mixed earlier with oil, and the batter looks amazing. Incorporate the flour, and I'm using just a whisk now to incorporate the flour with. Take a few tablespoons of your batter in a separate bowl, like maybe 1/3 of all the batter in another bowl, and mix that with cocoa powder. And if you notice that it's gonna be too thick, the mixture, you can add a few tablespoons of water to thin it up. And I'm gonna start to assemble now the batter in the cake form. I put baking paper on the base and the sides. The diameter of this is 24 centimeters. As you can see, I'm alternating the two batters that I have, placing them only in the middle, one on top of the other. I am preheating the oven at 350 Fahrenheit or 180 Celsius. I'm not gonna mix at all in this batter. I'm just gonna let it self-leveling, and even if it's gonna bake and have a tiny dome, I'm gonna be okay because I'm gonna cut the first layer anyway. I bake the cake for about 30 minutes in the oven. I will remove the cake form, remove the paper, and have it on a cooling rack to cool down completely. To decorate the cake, I'm gonna make a ganache, for which I'm gonna need 100 gram of dark chocolate and 100 gram of whipping cream that has over 35% of fat, as you can see. I'm gonna put this on the stove in a tiny pot to heat up, not to boil, just to be really well heated and all that fat to melt away. And I will take it off the stove now and place the chocolate in smaller pieces. I break the chocolate like this and let it melt in that. And you can use this ganache after the chocolate is melted to decorate the cakes as a glaze, or put it in the fridge to harden and use a mixer to whip it up and use it as a frosting. I'm gonna use it to decorate the cake. As you can see underneath, I have some aluminum foil that I scrunch up between my hands, and I'm gonna pour the ganache over it and level it nicely with the spatula. Cover it with some baking paper, just because I don't want it to stick to anything else in the fridge. And I'm gonna have it in the fridge to cool down and solidify completely, and I'm gonna use this to decorate the cake. I'm gonna make the bark of the tree with this ganache. So in the fridge. Let's make the frosting now. And for this, I'm gonna need a lot of butter, 500 grams of butter, 397 or 1 can of sweet condensed milk at room temperature as well, and 30 grams of cocoa powder. And I'm gonna start mixing that butter until it's fluffy for a minute or so, and add sweet condensed milk gradually and continue to mix. At the end, add cocoa powder and mix until it's well incorporated. And with this, I'm gonna decorate the cake as well and have it in between the slices of the cake. I'm gonna make a syrup with a bit of milk, about 100 milliliters of milk, and 1 or 2 tablespoons of sugar and some vanilla extract. And I'm gonna mix the milk with that sugar until it's dissolving. I told you that I'm gonna remove the first layer of this sponge cake, a thin layer, just to expose the underneath part of this cake, the design of this cake. The chocolate will look like the rings of a stump tree. I trim a bit the edges to make it look more like a stump tree. And also I'm gonna cut the cake in 3 slices horizontally. And I'm gonna choose one of the sliced slices that is looking more like the rings of a tree, to have it on top. So I'm slicing now the sponge cake. I'm using this cake saw to do this, but you can use a really sharp knife. And as you can see, the underneath layer looks a lot more like a bark, like a stump tree, like the rings of the tree. Okay, the words are coming hard now. Let's assemble the cake. We have everything ready for this. So I have the syrup here, and I add some vanilla as well for over it, and I'm gonna put syrup over each slice, and also add the frosting in between the slices. Level it with a spatula. Add another slice and put milk over it, and again frosting that you're gonna level with a spatula. And make sure to put frosting only between the slices and on the sides of the cake. Do not cover the last slice that you're gonna have on top, because the whole idea of this cake is to look like a stump tree. So the design of that cake must be let open to resemble the stump tree. If you cover it with the frosting, it's not gonna look anymore. So make sure not to cover the last slice of cake that you have on top. You can put in between the layers, in between the slices, and on the sides of the cake. So we're gonna put milk on top of the cake. This way the cake is not gonna be dry, because this slice will be exposed. So I put syrup over, and I'm gonna cover the cake on the sides with the rest of the frosting. You can trim a bit the cake with a knife to make it look more like a stump tree. Just have fun, enjoy, okay? Eat your cake, and it's gonna be looking amazing and taste absolutely delicious. So take your time and adjust this to make it look like a stump tree. Now you see me glazing the cake on the sides with that frosting. And I'm gonna take out from the fridge the ganache that we made earlier, and as you can see, it's really nice and firm right now. So I can peel it off that aluminum foil and put these on the sides of the cake, and they will look like the bark. The fact that we scrunch up the aluminum foil is gonna give the look of bark. You can powder it with sugar, and it's gonna be a cake that is gonna taste delicious and look great on your holiday table. And You can use branches, pine branches on the table for decorations as well. Yeah, I really enjoyed making this cake. It made me happy to see it, and I hope you're gonna make it as well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're gonna try the recipe and let me know in the comments what you think about. Happy holidays wherever and whatever you are celebrating. Find reasons to smile, and see you here next time. Bye.